Hello children, once again we are going to be together for some time, and I hope and I believe that the time you are going to spend with me will be really enjoyable and interesting for you. Okay, what do you think? What type of a lesson will be there for you today, right? Okay, let's see. And today my lesson is on future tense, right? So, let's see what we are going to learn. Future tense. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to know the three types of future forms and then construct sentences using these three forms of future tense, and then again some writing activities and some kind of entertainment. Okay. To begin the lesson with, I have given you the definition or the meaning of the future tense. To indicate something that happens or something that is done in future, we use future form of sentences, and you can see there are three types. First one is future simple tense. There you get the structure, subject, will and the verb, and then next one is future continuous tense. Just like we have simple present tense, we have future simple tense. Then again we have continuous form, present tense and past tense, present continuous, past continuous, like that. Again you have future continuous, and there you have the structure, subject, will plus be plus verb, and then will is a model to indicate future. Then the third one is future perfect tense. Just like we have present perfect and past perfect, we have future perfect tense as well, right? There structure is subject, will, have plus verb, past, participle. I will be showing you several examples, and then you will be able to learn all these things very well, right? So, first one is future simple tense. Can you remember the structure? Subject, modal will, and then you have to add the verb. So, just because modal will is there, even the subject is singular or plural, you don't want to worry about the subject. You can just have the modal will and add the verb. Look at the example. Suraj will go to school tomorrow. Suraj is a singular noun. So, then after that you get the modal will and the main verb go. The next example. The people will gather at the public ground. So, there the subject is plural, the people. Then people will gather. Even if the subject is singular or plural, we can keep the same modal verb will without worrying, because when it comes to simple present tense, we are going to pay attention to whether the subject is singular or plural. Here you don't have to worry about that. Then the third example, my uncle will meet us at the airport. They are the verb will and meet. The next one, my parents will be back soon. There, what is the verb? My parents will be back. There, the root be is there as the verb after modal will. In all the other three examples, you had a main verb. Here, the first one will go, next one will gather, and next one will meet. But here, the fourth one, you have will be. It's the root of be form, and then no other forms of be, but only be, right? So, my parents will be back soon. How are you going to form the negative of future tense? You can do it very easily. What you have got to do is to add not in between. Let's see the examples. Suraj will not go to school tomorrow. In between modal will and the main verb, you have to put not there, right? Then the other sentence, the people will not gather at the public ground. Third one, my uncle will not meet us at the airport. All these three sentences show you how to make the sentence negative in future form. It's very easy, isn't it? Right. So, let's look at the fourth example. My parents will not be back soon. Can you remember I was telling you that will be back, and then in between will and be you have to add again not. fifth one is a question. So, when you form the question, you have to take the modal verb will first, and then will Suraj go to school tomorrow? Will and not together shorten form want, and you can make the negative question or the negative interrogative using that shortened form want. Want my uncle meet us at the airport? That is also a question, right? So, then you can easily form the negative form of this, right? Then shall we read these again? Suraj will not go to school tomorrow. People will not gather at the public ground. My uncle will not meet us at the airport. My parents will not be back soon. Will Suraj go to school tomorrow? Won't my uncle meet us at the airport? Right, let's see what's there, the next slide. The meeting will begin at 10 a.m. right. So, then again the meeting will begin at 10 a.m. Future tense, will and begin. But look at the next example. I have got my tickets, so I am going to Canada. There I have used going to form to indicate future, right. That is also another structure we are going to use, going to indicate future events or ideas. There, when there is an evidence, we are going to use going to form instead of will, because here in this example you can say the first requirement, I have got my tickets. So, there is a kind of evidence that I can go abroad. So, I am going to Canada. Then we are not going to say I will go to Canada. Instead of will, to indicate that future idea, we are going to use I am going to Canada, going to form. Look at the next example. Mr. Lal is going to wash his car. You can look at the picture as well. The kids are bringing buckets of water, and the water is ready there in buckets, and he is going to wash his car. So, still is not washing, but we have evidence that he has got some buckets of water, and then he is having all these preparations to wash the car. So, we have evidence. So, in that case we can use going to without using will, right. So, that example, Mr. Lal is going to wash his car. Likewise, if you say they are going to start the meeting in a little while, what do you mean by that? They have made all the arrangements, to start the meeting. In a few minutes, they will begin it. Now, is the idea clear to you? Did you understand the difference between will and going to form? We are using going to form when there is a kind of evidence. I showed you with that example, right? Then, in conditional sentences also, we use future tense. This is if clause to give a condition. If you are ready, I will come with you to do shopping. So, if you are ready, only this will happen. So, that is why we are going to say will come with you. The next one, if you want to contact the manager, I will give you his number. That is a requirement. If you want, that is a condition, right? Conditional sentences. The manager will give you his number. Is it clear to you? Now, I discuss with you when to use will, right, to indicate future ideas and even in conditional clauses, and the difference between will and, yes, going to form. The next one, what words indicate future ideas? Yes, when you have these words, you can very easily identify, and we can choose the verb to mean it is a future idea. We can use modal will and shall in modal lesson. I think children will get to know what is it, where to use will, where to use shall, but to indicate future basically we are using will, right. So, tomorrow is a word that we can easily identify in sentences, and then we can just make it a future tense sentence, right. Then the other words next, next day, next Friday, very easily you can add anything, right, next week, next month, next year. Simply you can add day, Friday or any day, right. So, here I have taken the word Friday, for example. If you want, you can say next Monday, next Wednesday, like that you can change it, next week, next month, next year, right. Then after a short while, that is also a phrase we can identify as something to denote future, right? After a little while. I will call you after a little while. So you can just use that as well. In a while. The minister will come here in a little while. Something like that. In a few minutes. In 2 hours. Then the other word is soon and the other one is in the near future. Right. Shall we read all these things again? Tomorrow, next is again next day, next Friday, next week, next month, next year. Then after a short while, after a little while, in a few minutes, in 2 hours, in 2 days, in 2 years, anything to indicate future, right? Then soon, in the near future. The idea is clear to you, I hope. Right. Then using the words in the list, we can form future tense sentences. I have given you an example. Catch, call, enter, show, increase, eat, be, break are the given verbs. And then here are the sentences. You read it on your own. More people, the competition next year as the prize money has increased. So they have increased that value of the prize they are going to give. That's the idea. We with Tim tonight. He asked us to be there at 7 p.m. Next one, Joe back at station by 5. Can you pick him there? Right? So next one, I read in the paper that the price of gas again. Did you see my new solar watch? Here, I show you how it works. Mr. Das is not in his office. In that case, him at home. If you stand in the rain much longer, you cold. We have to walk across the old bridge. It seems it. Right. These are the sentences. Let's go back and see. Okay, you take a few minutes to fill in the blanks. I'll help you at the end with the answers, right? Okay, I hope you have enough time. And then let's see. More people will enter the competition. So from that list, you have to take the word enter and then the word will, and more people will enter the competition next year as the prize money has increased. Second answer, we will eat with Tim tonight. He asked us to be there at 7 p.m., right? Joe will be back at station by 5 p.m. Can you pick him there? Next one, I read in the paper that they are going to increase the price of gas again. Why did I put they are going to? Did you put the same answer? Going to? And because the subject is they, you have to put be verb are there. And then I read in the paper that they are going to increase the price because there is a kind of evidence, right? So then you can put they are going to increase the price of gas again. Next one, did you see my new solar watch? Here, I will show you how it works. How many of you got all the answers correct, right? So I hope you have got it right because I explain it well how to choose the verb and when there is evidence what to put and how to form future form of the verb with the modal verb will, right? Then my answers, Mr. Das is not in his office. In that case, I will call him at home. Again his intention, I will call him at home because he has to make a sudden decision, right? Mr. Das is not in his office. So in that case, I will call him at home. Next one, if you stand in the rain much longer, you will catch cold, right? Because this is a result of standing too much longer time in the cold weather, right? So rain. We have to walk across the old bridge. It seems it is going to break. Again evidence, it seems. It appears to be like an old bridge and going to break. So we are going to put it seems it's going to break. So these are the other three answers for those fill in the blank question, right? The girl is happy learning all these things. What about you all? Are you all also happy? Right. future continuous tense, subject, will plus be plus verb, present participle. What do you mean by the verb present participle? You will be able to understand that when you are going through the examples, right? This form of sentences help denote continuous action in the future. There is a reference to a specific time. This is the most important part of this. Specific time in the future, such as next month, in 10 years time, in a few days time, or in a few days. Then after that you can say in 5 years. Likewise, you have to have a specific time duration, right? So, specific time in the future, but that is the special point that you have to remember, right? When you do this future continuous. What is the structure? Subject, here I, then the modal verb will, and the definite part of it is be. You can't change that. You have to keep this be part all the time right after this modal verb will. Then after that you have to form the present participle. What do you mean by present participle? Present participle is the main verb plus ing. What is the main verb here? Learning, learn plus ing, learning. So then we can form future continuous tense using this structure: subject, will, be, present participle of the verb. I will be learning to drive vehicles. What is the specific time given here in this sentence? In 6 months. You can obtain this after 6 month driving license. So, I will be learning to drive vehicles in 6 months. That is your future plan, right? Will be learning. Next example. Mr. Das will be traveling throughout next week. Then because he is busy throughout the week, he has to travel. Mr. Das will be traveling throughout next week. Next one, the professor will be taking up his place at the university in July. So, specific time is here in July. And then will be taking up his place, will be taking up, right? Taking up together you have to take. Will be taking up is the verb in this sentence, and it is future continuous tense. We will be leaving to Kandy this evening. So, the verb is we is the subject, will be leaving to Kandy, specific time, this evening. Who will be giving the first presentation at the conference? So, at the conference, who is going to give the first presentation? That is a question. So, you can form the question, who will be giving the first presentation. Not only sentences, you can form questions as well, as we did in other examples, right? My friend will not be taking part in the drama from next week. So, this is the specific time, next week, and my friend will not be taking part. So, the verb here is will not be taking part, right? So, take part means participate. So, take, we are going to put that main verb and then taking the suffix ing, and then we form the present participle of take as taking, and then we are just going to keep that part taking part, right? So, will not be negative sentence here. My friend will not be taking part in the drama from next week, specific time. Will you be writing the script until evening? So, this is again a question. So, in this question, verb will is at first. Will you be writing? So, here will be is a must in future continuous, right? So, will you be writing is the main verb. Adding ing, we have formed the present participle. The script until evening, that is also again a question, right? So, is it clear to you? Shall we read all these things? Mr. Das will be traveling throughout the next week. Next one, the professor will be taking up his place at the university in July. We will be leaving to Kandy this evening. Who will be giving the first presentation at the conference? Next one, my friend will not be taking part in the drama from next week. Next one, will you be writing the script until evening? Specific time there is until evening, right? put the words in the right order to make a meaningful sentence. Here are 4 sentences. Will you please read it on your own and I'll help you at the end, right? Okay. The prizes giving out will be the chief guest. Kenu trying to his 3rd win in the gold medal will be next Olympics. Road repairs carrying out over the council will be 2 days. Next one, Dr. Janice, her work tonight will be on the radio talking about. So you need little time, of course, to find the right place of these sentences. If you are really good, you can just do it within few minutes. Just think of the correct answer. I'll be giving you a few minutes. Very easy to do this if you know the structure. This is under future continuous tense, similar to present continuous. Only thing is there's a change in verb. Instead of main be verb part, we are going to use modal will plus be. Right, let's check 2 other sentences with answers. First 2, let's check. The chief guest will be giving out the prizes. The first one, Kenu will be trying to win his 3rd gold medal in the next Olympics. The third one, the council will be carrying out road repairs over the 2 days, specific time over the 2 days. Next one, Dr. Janice will be talking about her work on the radio tonight. Tonight, that is the specific time. Okay, I will read it again because if you have gone wrong, you can correct the mistakes. So, I'll read it a bit slow. The chief guest will be giving out the prizes. Kenu will be trying to win his 3rd gold medal in the next Olympics. The third one, the council will be carrying out road repairs over the 2 days. Dr. Janice will be talking about her work on the radio tonight. So, this is the dream of Kenu to win the gold medal, right? So, you also have dreams, right? You can achieve those things very easily if you work hard. Next one, using this form, we can ask about people's plans in a polite way. What is this form? Future continuous. Look here, the examples I have given, then you can very easily identify what I am going to explain. Using this future continuous form, you can ask or you can get to know about people's plans in a polite way, right? So, then the first one, will you be using the computer for much longer? That is a question, right? So, this is modal will, be using. So, in between the subject you, right? So, this is the way you form a question. So, will you be using the computer for much longer? That is a way that you are going to get to know or ask people's plans, right? Will you be going to the supermarket? Next one, Mr. Roy, will you be selling your car soon? Mr. Suraj, will you be taking more students to your class this year? Future plan, right? So, are you going to take more students? So, without asking that, we just can say it politely. Mr. Suraj, will you be taking more students to your class this year? Right. What time will you be coming to babysit, to look after the baby? When are you going to come? That is not very nice. So, but politely you can get to know these things, future plans or the plans of the people. So, you can just use future continuous. What time will you be coming? You can see in all these sentences or questions, we have used the present participle of the main verb. Here what are they? Go, going, sell, selling, take, taking, come, coming, right? So, then can you remember the structure? Looking at this, can you please form the structure? Yes, subject should be first and then will and then be and then the verb present participle. But because all these things are questions, you have a bit a difference or change in the structure, because in between the first two parts will be, we have to put or we have to insert the subject, right? So, other than that, future continuous, the structure is subject, will, be, verb, present participle, right? Quickly we will go through the next slide. In diary entries, definite future plans can be included using this form. Again, future continuous can be used to write diary entries, but the thing is, it should be definite future plan. It is certain that you are going to do this, right? That is why we say definite future plan. Okay, let's read the examples. I will be going to university in September. That is going to happen without any failure, right? So, without any disturbance, without any kind of failure, you are going to do that. I will be going to university in September. Next one, I'll be planning my business with Ruth next Monday. So, here the specific time, next Monday, the first one in September. So, these things are very fixed ones and definite future plans. Will be going to university, will be planning my business, and next one, I will be buying a bicycle for my small brother this Sunday, because there's a bicycle, they are just in front of the house. That idea is there, but I want you to look at that picture and build 2 or 3 more sentences using the same structure. That means the future continuous. So, what can we say? Just because the bicycle is there in front of the house, we don't know whether it's working or not, whether that person can ride it or not. So, you can just say, I'll be repairing my bicycle next week. I'll be repairing my house next week. Something similar to that, right? So, I will be whitewashing the house next week. A kind of sentence used in the same structure, future continuous. Right, I have explained here what do you mean by present participle and how to form it, and past participle. This is something that you have to pay your attention very much, I hope. Present participle, it is very easy, main verb and ing. Now, we heard enough of examples, going, planning, buying, selling, talking like, right? So, then past participle, that is something you have to know very well. Verb plus ed is the regular way that we are going to form past tense. When you have ed for past tense, we get the same past tense word for past participle as well. So, for example, work, worked, past tense, and past participle also the same, worked. But when it comes to, what about this verb explain? Explain, explained, explained. Again, what's happened there? We have past tense explained and past participle also explained. When we take another verb, let's say decide, decide, decided, decided. You have the same form past tense for past participle as well. But look here, irregular. Go, went is the past tense, gone is the past participle, right? Then the verb take, take, past tense is took, and past participle is taken. What about the word make? Make, made, made. Then I have given you some other examples. Do, did, done. Speak, spoke, spoken. Write, wrote, written. Fine. Now, how are you going to remember all these past participle form and past tense of irregular verbs? You have to keep it in your memory. You have to learn it by heart and memorize every now and then and remember very well, because there's no particular order. Like regular past tense, we can just add ed and then form past participle as well. But here you have to learn these things by heart. So, our children of course go wrong in this place when they want to form past participle if they are not very sure of their verb forms in irregular structure, right? Then future perfect tense. Subject, again modal will is there because it is the model that we are going to use to indicate future, and then have and verb past participle. Now, can you remember in future continuous, there was another part that you have to keep it as a must. Part B verb after the modal will. Here likewise we have to keep have just after the modal verb will, right. So, look at these examples, you will be able to learn it. Subject, will, have plus verb. This have is also again essential part just after the modal verb will. You can't miss that, right. So, what is the use of this? Why are we going to use this form of future perfect? Let's see. We use future perfect tense to say something that will be done or completed or achieved by a particular point in the future. That's it, in the future, right. So, let's read the definition or the meaning again. We use future perfect tense to say something that will be done, something that is completed or something that is achieved by a particular point in the future, right. Roy will have completed 50 years service in 2022, right. Here, what is that? What is the future point? In 2022, right. Then other one, the workers will have built the bridge by the end of this year, specific point of time by the end of this year, right. Next one, is it clear now? Will have completed, you see will have completed, will is the model to indicate future, have is the essential part as I told you, and then completed is the past participle of the verb complete. When it comes to this, will have built, have, build, built, past participle is built, right. Then we will have finished our lessons by next Monday. It's a question. Will we have finished our lessons by next Monday? So, you have to take that modal will in front and form the question. Next one, by the time you get home, I will have cleaned the garden. So, the time that my mother or uncle or the person I am referring to, by the time you get home, I will have cleaned the garden. There is an activity. Look at the following pictures and make sentences using future perfect tense. I think you have an idea. So, what are the necessary things that you have to remember when you make future perfect tense? It should be the subject, then after that will and the verb have, and you have to add the past participle of the verb that you are going to use, right. Structure is very important because according to that you can make grammatically correct sentences. Subject, will, then have and the past participle of the verb, right. So, this is the exercise or just a small kind of activity. You can see 3 pictures and one is a work site, the other one is girl is writing something, the other picture is again farmers are harvesting, they are working in their field, right. These are the 3 pictures. So, you can form some sentences, any number of sentences as you wish. So, I will be giving you few minutes for that as well. Look at the picture and use future perfect, and other thing is that time that you are going to give, specific time in future, right. I have written some examples for you. The first one, picture A, can you remember that work site? There, the engineers will have supervised the construction at the end of the day, right. So, at the end of the day, specific time in future. The engineers will have supervised. Can you remember the structure? Subject, will, have, the verb supervised, past participle is supervised. Then they will not have completed the project by the end of December. Now, I have formed negative question. They will not have completed the project by the end of December. So, this is something to refer to specific time in future. You use the word by or the preposition by there, by the end of December. They are at the end of the day in the first sentence. What about the third one? The workers will have finished the work before the end of 2020. So, specific time is before the end of 2020. Workers, subject, will have finished. There, the verb is finish, finished, finished is the past participle, right. These are the 3 sentences I have constructed for this, or I have just done those things for you. Then the second example, can you remember the girl with her books and a pen in hand? Yes. What are the sentences here? The girl will have finished her work by lunchtime. By lunchtime. Specific time in future. The girl will have finished. Again, I have used the main verb finish, and then the past participle of it is finished. Will have finished. Next one. She will not have written a lot of exercise in her book in a few hours, right? So then she will not have written. Negative. Will, negative form, not have written. Past participle of the verb write is written. So will have not written a lot of exercise in her book in a few hours, right? The next one. Sarah will not have done her homework by the time her mother returns home. By the time her mother returns home is the time to indicate future, right? Can you remember in a previous example it was there by the time you come home. So likewise here I have used by the time her mother returns home. Sarah will not have done, negative. The next one, the writing task will soon have been done by her. That is a passive voice sentence. The writing task will soon have been done by her, right? Then shall we read all this again? The girl will have finished her work by lunchtime. She will not have written a lot of exercise in her book in a few hours there. The next one, Sarah will not have done her homework by the time her mother returns home. Next one, the writing task will soon have been done by her. Fine. The other one, number C, that was about farmers. Again, the farmers will have harvested the crops by the end of the day. By the end of the day. That is important. And future, specific time. By the time the sun sets, that means evening. By evening, they will have finished harvesting. Next one, the harvest will soon be taken to the market. That is a passive voice one, still future. Perfect, right? The harvest will soon have been taken. The farmer will not have finished the job by the end of the day. Farmer will not have finished the job by the end of the day, right? Then activity again, writing a speech on the topic, if you are in a bad relationship, you break it off. That is a topic that I have taken from your textbook, and this is a way that you are going to write a speech. So right at the beginning, what are you going to do? Salutation, good morning or good afternoon, depending on what? Depending on the time you are going to speak, right? Then after that, you have to give the address or the salutation. Dear principal or teachers and my dear friends, if you are going to give that speech in school. If not, dear ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to speak to a gathering, so if they are ladies and gentlemen seated, then not your school teachers and principal, they are as the audience, you can just address dear ladies and gentlemen. Next one, I thank you all for giving me this opportunity. That should be the first thing that you are going to say because you are given that chance to speak. So this is just like a format like writing a speech and then after that giving it in front of the audience. The first part is the introduction because this topic is bad relationships. You have to break it off if you are in such a thing, right? So life is like a journey. During that long journey, we meet a lot of people outside our family. Is that true? In school, you meet a lot of friends. When you go out of the school again, you are exposed to some other people in the society. And so you meet a lot of people during your lifetime, not only just after school. When you go to university and when you go to workplace, you meet a lot of people. So that is a long journey we are going to have. So during that long journey, we meet a lot of people outside our family. Right, we know that family is trustworthy and they are true in their relationships and we have no problem. But when we are in the society, when we are going to make relationships, we have to be very careful, right? We come across with a lot of people, we meet, right? We meet with a lot of people and build up relationships with them. Is that true? Yes, we are making relationships. Then at school, we have teachers and friends teachers will guide and help us build our personality. That is the role of the teachers at school, not just giving you the subject knowledge, but as teachers, we guide you all when you go wrong and when you want to show your talents and skills. Of course, we are going to extend our helping hand, yes. So, we are going to guide you along the right path, and then we are going to help us. So, at school, we have teachers and friends. Teachers will guide us and help us build our personality. Not only teachers, your friends also matter a lot, because if your friends are not good enough, you are going to be in trouble, right? So, you have to be very careful. Sometimes, accidentally we may fall into wrong groups. That is the thing, right? We don't know whether they are good or not. We are just going to have kind of relationships. Then, sometimes accidentally we may fall into wrong groups, and those relationships will bring misery and trouble. Then what happens? Then without hesitation, we'll have to break them off, right? We don't want to think twice. We have to get rid of those. If not, at the end, those relationships will have created more trouble for us, right? Our good name and reputation will be tainted. So, we will spoil our good name. Then we have to think of when we are making relationships. That's what we are going to say. So, your speech is full of good points. Then, birds of same feather flock together. That is again a great saying. So, when we have similar interest, we just get into that group. So, that is why they say birds of same feather flock together. We easily get in groups with similar interests, but every time these relationships will not give us happy or pleasant experience. Is that true? Sometimes even in your groups of good friends, some certain things happen. You become very unhappy and sad, and those experiences will be very unpleasant, right? Therefore, in conclusion, I would like to say we have to be very thoughtful when we build up relationships with others. Think twice before you leap. That is also good advice, right? Think twice before you leap. Again, hope you could get a kind of food for thought, and just like we replace a bulb when it burns out, we can get away from bad relationships, breaking them off. This is a good example. When a light bulb burns out, we are going to replace it. Likewise, if you feel that that relationship is going to end up in kind of misery and sadness, just like we replace the bulb, we can just removing that burnout one, we can do the same with our relationships as well, right? So, that is why at the end you can say, how are you going to end up your speech? Wind up. I will wind up. Here I have highlighted all the future and future perfect tenses that are coming in the essay or the speech. Let's have a look. Again, going back to the slides. Here, no future tense, but here the teachers will guide and will help us. Next one, we may fall, again a modal verb. Then after that, will bring, will have to break, future, will have created, future perfect, and then will be tainted, passive voice, right? Will be tainted, again future, right? So, here there is an interesting activity here after this slide, and we will read the rest of the speech and see what are the other future tense verbs that are coming in the essay or the speech. Will not give, then the other one, will wind up the speech, right? Fine. Then what are you going to do next? It will be something very interesting. Here is a song from a popular singer, Queen Bee. We are going to be friends. You go through this. This is something to do with the school life, right? So, you are eagerly waiting to go to school, we know, with new shoes and all these things. We are going to have that idea in this song. Unfortunately, I can't sing very well. So, I am going to recite this. At the same time, you have to pay attention to all these words that are in future tense, because there's a relevance that I have chosen this song to teach you more on future tense, right? So, shall we read it? You also can join, look at the screen and read with me, right? We are going to be friends. Fall is here, hear the yell. Back to school, ring the bell. Brand new shoes, walking blues. Climb the fence, books and pens. I can tell that we are going to be friends. I can tell that we are going to be friends. Walk with me, Susie Lee, through the park and by the tree. We will rest upon the ground and look at all the bugs we found. Safely walk to school without a sound. Safely walk to school without a sound. Right, what's there next? So, did you enjoy this part of a song? Because this is something to do with village scenery, isn't it? You are going to find some kind of, did you hear the names of creatures like? Look at the bugs we found, right? So, they are going to have bugs on their way to school. They are taking books, and then again they are going to stay at the park by the tree. So, this is something very interesting, and you will get a lot of beautiful pictures in your mind, right? Let us see the rest of the song, right? Here we are, no one else. We walk to school all by ourselves. Nobody is there on the road. There is dirt on our uniforms from chasing all the ants and worms. So, there are some ants and worms. There is dirt on your uniforms. We clean up and now it's time to learn. We clean up and now it's time to learn. So, this is really interesting, right? Numbers, letters, learn to spell, nouns and books and show and tell. Playtime we will throw the ball, back to class through the ball. Teacher marks our height against the wall, growing up, right? Teacher marks our height against the wall. So, whether the kids have grown tall after playing, right? So, really interesting. Then next, we don't notice any time pass. Is that true at school? Yes, when you are playing, of course, you don't feel time pass. But when you are studying, sometimes you may feel it if the lesson is not very interesting. I hope that was not mine, right? We don't notice any time pass. We don't notice anything. We sit side by side in every class. So, two friends are sitting side by side, right? So, this speaker is addressing the friend. We sit by side in every class. Teacher thinks that I sound funny, but she likes the way you sing. Tonight I will dream while I am in bed, when silly thoughts go through my head about the bugs and alphabet. And when I walk tomorrow, I will bet that you and I will walk together again. So, because they two are separated at night, the two friends are going to meet again. So, then she says, I can tell that we are going to be friends. Yes, I can tell that we are going to be friends. So, that is to say, these two are very good friends, and that relationship has brought that speaker happiness, pleasure, and of course, she is enjoying that company of the friend, right? So, all of you must get such good friends and at the same time learn the language that is coming in here. I think you are going to listen to this song, and it's really beautiful. You listen to that and just enjoy it. I'll be able to listen to that song with you, or if you can sing, of course you can sing. Is it interesting? Did you sing? Okay. This should be really done in classrooms. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the time. Today, the lesson is going to be over and I'm going to wind up my session and I'm going to say goodbye to all of you. Stay safe.